What does it truly mean to be a family? When the world turns its back and judgment rains down, can love alone be enough to build a home? Join Marcus, Clara, and Lily as they fight against all odds to claim their place and their right to belong. If you're moved by stories of strength, heart, and the true meaning of family, make sure to subscribe and follow along. You won't want to miss a moment of Marcus, Clara, and Lily's powerful journey. Marcus took one last look out the window before opening the door to Clara and Lily. The cool evening breeze stirred the fallen leaves along the dirt path leading to his modest home. Clara held Lily's small hand tightly, her eyes wide and searching for some kind of anchor in a world that seemed cold and unforgiving. Since the death of Daniel, her husband, Clara had been drifting, fleeing the accusing glances and poisonous whispers that spread through the village like wildfire. Marcus's house was a simple, unexpected refuge. Yet, in this village steeped in tradition and suspicion, opening one's door to a widow and a child not her own was an act of defiance. Many villagers whispered behind closed doors, questioning the legitimacy of this fragile family. A woman alone with a child who wasn't hers, and a man willing to shelter them, it was enough to fuel rumors and judgment. Gently, Clara set Lily down on the floor, trying to offer a smile despite the exhaustion etched deep into her face. She felt constantly watched, scrutinized with cold eyes as if her right to happiness had to be earned. The village's frosty stares weighed on her like a heavy cloak. But here, inside Marcus's home, she could breathe, if only for a moment. The silence that blanketed the village streets was anything but innocent. It was filled with unspoken reproach, a deep incomprehension toward what they represented. Most villagers avoided Marcus, Clara, and Lily not out of kindness, but out of judgment. One morning, as Clara walked to fetch water from the well, Reverend Collins approached, his stern face framed by the harsh morning sun. His voice was grave, carrying the weight of authority Clara knew too well. Clara, you must make a public confession. The village is restless, they need to see that you accept their laws, their values. Clara met his gaze steadily, her heart pounding, but her voice remained unwavering. I have nothing to confess, Reverend. I never meant to offend anyone, only to protect Lily. Our family may not look like what some expect, but it is real. The preacher frowned, his insistence turning almost into a veiled threat, but Clara stood firm. She knew that giving in would only invite more hatred, that their dignity depended on their courage. Back at the house, Marcus prepared dinner while Lily played with an old wooden toy. He glanced at Clara, understanding without words the silent battle she fought each day. It wasn't just grief, they were fighting an entire village ready to reject them. And yet, within these four walls, a fragile hope remained. They had chosen each other, and that gave new meaning to family. No matter the whispers, they knew together they could weather the storm. Rising tensions and fierce resolve. Samuel's arrival shattered the fragile calm that Marcus, Clara, and Lily had fought so hard to build. The village was already whispering, but now the rumors took on a sharper edge, fueled by Samuel's cold and unyielding presence. He was Daniel's brother, a man whose claim on Clara and Lily was as much about blood as it was about control. From the moment Samuel stepped into Marcus's home, tension thickened the air like a storm ready to break. His eyes, hard and accusing, scanned Clara and then Marcus, as if measuring their worth. They don't belong to you, he said, voice low but edged with threat. Clara and Lily are mine by right. You have no claim here. Clara felt the weight of his words crushing down on her, but she refused to show weakness. She stood beside Marcus, their silent alliance a fortress against Samuel's aggression. The village, sensing the brewing conflict, began to watch more closely. Hostility hung in the streets like smoke. Days passed, each one heavier than the last. Samuel's presence was a constant shadow, his threats whispered in dark corners, his attempts to drive a wedge between Marcus and Clara relentless. But they held firm, their resolve growing stronger with every challenge. One afternoon, the inevitable confrontation came. Words erupted into a physical clash as Marcus confronted Samuel in the village square. The fight was brief but fierce, two men fighting not just over territory, but over the right to protect and belong. When it was over, Marcus stood tall, bruised but unbroken, his message clear: no one would threaten their family. Clara's voice rang out, unwavering and fierce, carrying over the stunned crowd: we are not your possessions to claim or discard. We are a family chosen and unbreakable. The villagers, many silent before, now faced a reality they could no longer deny. The murmurs continued, but a new respect, grudging yet undeniable, began to take root. The fight was far from over, but Marcus, Clara, and Lily had drawn a line in the sand, and they would not step back. The village never fully stopped whispering. The rumors clung to corners and doorways like shadows, persistent and unrelenting. Yet inside the walls of Marcus's home, a different world was growing, one built on love, acceptance, and the quiet strength of those who choose each other against all odds. Clara watched Lily playing by the fire, her laughter a fragile but radiant thread weaving through the room. Marcus sat nearby, his eyes soft as they followed the child's every move. In this space, the past's heavy weight began to lift, replaced by a fragile hope that dared to grow despite the bitterness beyond the door. Though Samuel's threats had not vanished entirely, their power diminished each day. The village, once cold and judgmental, was beginning to see them not as outsiders but as a family carved from choice and resilience. It wasn't easy, old prejudices died slowly, but the foundation was firm. Each evening, Marcus, Clara, and Lily shared small moments of tenderness, a touch, a whispered word, a shared meal. These acts, simple yet profound, stitched their hearts closer together, making them unbreakable. Clara found strength in Marcus's unwavering support, and Marcus found purpose in protecting the family they'd built. Lily, too young to understand the full weight of the struggle, felt the love that surrounded her like a shield. In the quiet moments before sleep, Clara whispered promises to Lily, vows to keep her safe no matter what storms the world might bring. Marcus held them both close, his resolve deepening with every heartbeat. Outside, the village still murmured, but inside, their home was filled with light. The family they had chosen was real, more real than any bloodline or tradition. Together, they had forged a future where love reigned, where belonging was not given but claimed, and where hope could bloom even in the harshest soil. In a world quick to judge and slow to understand, Marcus, Clara, and Lily's story reminds us that family is not just defined by blood or tradition, but by the bonds we choose to forge. Their journey is a powerful testament to resilience, courage, and above all, love, an unbreakable force that defies prejudice and builds hope from the ashes of rejection. Thank you for sharing this story with us. If their courage and love touched your heart, please subscribe and stay tuned for more stories that inspire, challenge, and remind us all what it means to truly belong.